I've seen enough to conclude that I think Biden's political Armageddon is upon us. I think he's done. So look at these new numbers. I'm gonna walk you through all this here. Biden's approval among the youngest voters is 25% in latest Quinnipiac poll, the lowest of any group but Republicans, and 30 points underwater. Somehow, his obliteration among this huge progressive group has merited scarcely a word of press coverage. So this is an important point. The media oftentimes shapes the agenda. And, of course, the argument that you hear from the media time and time again in reference to Biden and Democrats in general is that, oh my God, they've gone too far left, they're too radical, they're catering to Bernie Sanders and AOC. Now, substantively, this criticism is absurd because Biden is doing anything but that. But here's a real story that they could write up if they cared about honesty. And the story is a key voting demographic group for Democrats that Democrats need in order to win, it has completely and utterly abandoned them. So again, 25% for the youngest voting demographic. And then here, let me show you. So that's this one, 18 to 34, 25%. It's amazing I'm still included in the youngest demographic, by the way, because I'm 34. That's hilarious. But even 35 to 49-year-olds, 33%. Not much better. 50 to 64-year-olds, 35%. Not much better. And then his best group is 65 plus. Or actually, to be fair, it's black people at 59%. But guys, 18 to 49 years old, I mean, you're around 29%, right? So 18 to 34 is 25%. Now, let me show you something. 1 in 5 Democrats won't vote for Biden in 2024 if he doesn't forgive student loans. During his 2020 presidential campaign, President Joe Biden made a variety of proposals related to alleviating the student loan debt crisis, including forgiving up to $10,000 per borrower and developing a plan to forgive student loan debt for low-income and middle-class Americans. After more than a year in office, however, he has yet to take action to help the nearly 45 million Americans who owe a combined $1.7 trillion in student loans. He may want to address this issue sooner rather than later, according to a new Intelligent.com survey of 1,250 registered voters. If President Biden doesn't cancel some or all student loan debt, roughly 1/4 of American voters are willing to withhold their vote for him if he runs for re-election in 2024. And then they have here key findings. 21% of Democrats won't support Biden in 2024 without action on student loans, compared to 20% of Republicans and 27% of independents. 34% of Americans are somewhat or very dissatisfied with Biden's handling of the student loan debt crisis. And this is my favorite one right here. 3 in 4 voters are considering midterm candidate stances on student loan debt cancellation. So when you talk about that youngest voting bloc, these are people who this issue really matters to. It really matters to them. It affects them. This is about their material well-being. This is about them having a chance at a decent life moving forward. And Biden, if anything, what he's done is worse than nothing, because he dangled the carrot in front of everybody's faces, and the media ran some articles about, oh, he settled on $10,000 in student loan debt relief, and then he didn't deliver on it. So that's actually worse than not promising anything and then delivering nothing. Because what you're saying is, oh, we're going to do it, you're really going to like what I have to show you soon, and then you don't do it. And so if anything, this pisses people off even more. This is truly astonishing. So let me give you more here. Another issue that would help massively with this voting bloc that the Democrats need that has now abandoned them. By the way, for good reason they've abandoned them, because the Democrats aren't doing anything for them. Support for legal marijuana holds at record high of 68%. Guys, this is as big of a political layup as you can get. Biden can eliminate student loan debt on his own with an executive order, and he can legalize marijuana on his own with an executive order. You just take marijuana off the scheduled substances list. That's all you have to do. He could do it right this second if he wanted to. Let me give you more specifics. So 68 is the high number in Gallup. This is the Pew poll. They have it at a total of 60% support for legalizing it for recreational use, okay? But look at the age breakdown here. 18 to 29-year-olds, 70% want it fully legal for recreational use. Only 4% want marijuana to not be legal. 70% fully legalize it. 4% make it illegal. So if you include legalize for recreational and medical reasons, it's 94% of people age 18 to 29. And look, it's not that much lower among 30 to 49-year-olds. 65% fully legalize it. 25% legalize it for medical use. Only 10% say don't have legal weed. Guys, this is a voting bloc that Democrats absolutely need to have any chance in the midterms and in the 2024 elections. At this point, even though Biden clearly doesn't ideologically and philosophically agree with eliminating student loan debt or reducing student loan debt or legalizing marijuana, he doesn't believe in those things, he doesn't agree with those things, even though we all understand that, we all get that. Simply to save his ass politically, you would think he'd be smart enough to take action on these issues. Because let me tell you something. You're guaranteed a minimum of a 5-point bump in the polls if he does these things. Probably more like a 10-point bump in the polls if he does these things, and potentially even a little higher than that. But he's not doing it. He's not doing it. I've never seen more of a slow motion disaster than I'm witnessing right now for Biden and the Democrats. It is totally avoidable. People are going to make the argument after the Democrats get wiped out, oh, it was unavoidable. Total nonsense. It absolutely was avoidable. It depends on what you do. It depends on your policies. There's a reason why Biden had over a 50% approval rating when he cut everybody $1,400 checks. And ever since then, his numbers have tanked because he's not doing anything for people. So for the love of God, man, even just to save your political asses, do something good for the people. I mean, you should do them because they're just good policies on their own merit. But if you're not going to do it for that reason, well, then for the love of God, just save your ass politically. I'm convinced at this point, unless Biden does one or two of these things, I mean, he's made his bed and he's going to sleep in it, man. The chickens are coming home to roost. I mean, this is his apocalypse. This is his Armageddon. And you know what? He's going to deserve it. He's going to deserve it. Because you can only say Trump bad so many times, and only scream about January 6th so many times. And by the way, I agree, Trump bad. I agree, January 6th bad. But you can't just talk about that and expect the theater to get you over the finish line. You need to materially deliver for people. These are complete layup issues, and he's still failing on it. These are stunning numbers, guys. I mean, these numbers are lower than Trump. They're lower than Trump. When young people hate Trump less than they hate you, and you're the party that they're more affiliated with, oh, goodness gracious. Buckle up, y'all.